Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. Shout out to the NTZ crew. That's Jacob, Tanjay, Michael Beach, Life. My fourth quarter members, I want to apologize, man. I had a live stream set up for Wednesday, but man, it got the storming bad here in St. Carlos City. All my fourth quarter members, all my old heads, thank y'all for y'all support. There's Doubtful Genius, Unfiltered Black Abroad. Yeah, I think I like that Q in the Philippines better. Are you here, Q? Because that building you look like on your last video, man, it looked like it was in the Philippines, man. Come on. What's up, Albert? Hebron, he said, let's hear that walk-off music. Yeah, we will. What's up, Eric? I know you're going to be heading back to the Matrix. TJ just landed. He messaged me. He's back in the Matrix. Any new viewers and subscribers joining us today, welcome. What's up, Angelo? Anybody catching this on the replay? The peso is 57.31. Man, I hope y'all were able to take advantage of that 58.6. I've been working out every other day. I'm going today. And I changed it to every other day to give my muscles a chance to relax. What's up, Beach of Life? Cal, what happened to your Bermuda grass you were growing? I really can't tell you, man. I'm going to tell you, Michael Beach of Life, it died. Remember we had that El Nino? That's what happened. It killed it. It never came back. I mean, it's just a bare piece of grass over there. It just looks bad. So we're going to get the artificial grass. We saw it over. Sydney Gibson has it in his yard, and it really looks nice. And he kind of gave me the lowdown of what I need to do, and I'm going to get it done. That way I won't have to worry about it. What's up, Jim? What's up, Juice? But yeah, that Bermuda grass, that El Nino, man, it scorched it. Man didn't come back. Now, whatever's out in front of my house and in this whole yard, this whole field, it certainly came back. But we got a topic. It's what's behind the rise in sexless marriages. That's crazy, right? A sexless marriage. I never even knew it existed. I guess that's why they call it divorce. But there's people actually staying married who aren't getting it on, man. But I do want to talk about my video today. So far, so good. That has to be the problem, because my bill went down 2,200 pesos. Now, of course, it hasn't went all the way down because I fixed it July the 15th, so it was 15 days of whatever the problem was. But I think we're on to something. So if you have a house over here, man, it's always something. You know, I would rather still own a house than rent. Just depends on your situation. You're going to spend the money no matter what. That's what I was talking about the other day. Where is all the money gone? You're going to spend it whether you're renting or owning. Just when you own, it's always unexpectedly. Because I had to buy a damn ladder today. 7,000 pesos. I wasn't planning on buying no ladder, but that's the only way they're going to be able to get to some of these spots on my house to paint it. And not only that, but there's not enough ventilation in my roof. So on the outside, you can see these cracks. So he's got to fix that. He was happy to have that because he had given me a list of supplies. He was going to create his own ladder. I was like, no, that's okay, because we're eventually going to need a ladder. And I see where we were talking about, should sex be mandatory in in a relationship or marriage. And of course, everybody, different people was giving their opinions, which is good. Like, oh, well, it's going to interfere with the magic, or why? And he said, and one guy says, oh, it's cringy to put a certain amount of numbers, a certain amount of times you're going to make love into a relationship. But this is where the problem is. I wrote down here, our expectations will differ. You're not going to have the same expectations as your mate. Women and men, we don't want sex the same. A man wants it 30 times a month. A woman only wants it on average 7 times. You're going to have to work out something. Okay? That's just how it is. This all goes into the topic today, because most, if not all of us, forget our vows. So how can we keep the promises that we made when we don't know what they are? This is what I put down here. Yeah, that's what inspired the topic. Paul was talking about his divorce after 25 years. He said, but I'm going to do something different this next time. And he said he's got 13 things. He'll message me, and then I'll be able to. I want to get him on here, man, and talk about the 13 things. But one of them was an intimacy clause. You got to give it to me a certain amount of times every week, including head, blowjobs, whatever you agree on, anal, whatever. And I thought, that's a good thing. But then people was like, oh, you shouldn't have to do that. Bullshit, you do. Okay, because I always tell y'all this. This is what I feel in my heart. Relationships usually end in marriages because one or both of the parties stop doing something that they promised to do or they never started to do in the first place. See, assuming that our partners are going to keep their end of the bargain, that's a stretch. This is the crux of the problem with relationships and marriages. We take for granted that they know what we want. You can't read minds, and neither can she. A list of demands or things you expect is a reminder to the woman or the man. This is what you agreed to do. Okay? I'm just saying. He said, salute, bro, Cal. I would never have a sexless marriage, instant divorce. I never even knew it existed, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, what's the point of even staying married, staying together? Now, there's some reasons that they give you, because not only has there been a rise, it's been a noted rise in sexless marriages. But what really tripped me out was I put in Google, I put average age of a sexless marriage. And it had between the ages of 30 and 50. And I was like, wow, 30? 50? And of course, as you get older, when somebody's in the 80s, 90s and up, you don't even expect that. I mean, you would expect that to be a sexless marriage. But somebody in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, crazy, man. He said, I actually never thought about the agreement. Yeah, well, you better, Raymond. Otherwise, how is she going to know what you want? She can't read your mind. You can't read hers. He says, I know Cal would never tolerate a sexless marriage. Imagine going from 10 times a day to 0. Yeah, I mean, but believe it or not, guys, I talk about that before we even get together. I let the woman know, look, I've got a high sex drive. Can you handle that? If not, I need to talk to somebody else, because I take for granted that all 62-year-old men want it. Certainly when you got a woman that turns you on, man. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, I don't want it. It's okay. Bullshit. And y'all know it's bullshit. But here's some of the reasons they've got for the decline in sexual activity, which I can understand. Aging. It's got aging and health problems. Well, if somebody's got mental problems, depending on what kind of mental problem. Even though I was dealing with anxiety and depression, I still wanted to get it on. But if you schizophrenic or something like that, you out of here. It's got parenting responsibilities. Yeah, right. That baby's going to go to sleep eventually. And the kids, they get a certain age, they sleeping in the other room. That door's getting locked. That's no excuse. Yeah, this is great, Raymond. That's what I'm saying. He said, I just told her what I wanted. That's right. And how often you want it. He said 99% would not agree with that. Agree with what? Which one? But a list of demands is like a reminder of what, you expect and what they promised they were going to do. Because be honest, man, you don't know your vows. Even if you wrote them yourself, you don't forget them. Yeah, he said can't forever use the kids as an excuse. But that's one of the reasons they got parental responsibilities. Boobies seeps in there now. Okay. Yeah, it's different when me and Merlin travel. It's a whole lot different. We got more privacy and nobody's knocking on the door, coming in and out of the room. Yeah, but does that going to stop it completely? Bullshit. It's got emotional disconnect. Well, if there's an emotional disconnect, I'm not going to stay in the same house with you. That doesn't even make sense. Oh yeah, sexless marriage. But it's not true though. They're agreeing to it, Marvin. This is what I don't understand. It's crazy. But like I said, if you 80, 90, and up, because, we're growing. I mean, we're living longer. The fastest growing segment of the population in America is 85 plus. So, you ain't trying to do nothing at 85. And then even if you was, hell, the woman, look, imagine what she looks like at 85. You ain't trying to do nothing. You, if anything, man, you dealing with memories now. Unfiltered Black or Brown, thanks for that super chat. He said, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? If a woman doesn't know rules, then trade her for someone that does. I think that's true. I think that you need to lay that out in the beginning. It ain't about no magic. There is no magic if there's no emotional connection. If you old, if you got health problems, I can understand that. The magic starts when you get it on. We know what we expect women to do, but will they do it? And women expect us to do, but will we do it? The party don't start till your clothes come off. Okay? I'm sorry. Hey, what's up? What's up, Mr. 07? That's all I'm saying. He said in America, sexless marriages are the norm after the honeymoon period. Well, that's what I've heard. Yeah, well, it's true. They said a noted rise, not just a rise, at 30 to 50. You think I'm going to sit there at 30, 35 years old, looking at a woman in her prime, and she's talking about, the stress and fatigue from working and raising the kids and cooking all day? Well, hell, bend over the damn stove. Bend over the damn stove. I can pound you in while you stirring the soup. What's up? What time is it, Travers? He said the only thing for certain when it comes to sex and sex drive is yourself. The spark dies for whatever reason, but don't die with it. Exercise, lift weights, walk, natural testosterone, libido booster. Yeah, but that's why it's important that you choose a woman. Okay, just like the other day, I was talking about buying a car, and my buddy Oliver, who came to the meet and greet, shout out Oliver if you're listening. He said, just buy the car one time, Cal, because I was thinking about getting one of those little cars John had. He was like, no, just buy the car one time. Buy the car that you want and that you need so you don't have to buy it again. And that's the same way it is with marriage. Make sure you got the right one before you get married. You know, like I said, me and Marilyn, hell, we've been together for going on 7 years, man. She turns me on more now than when I met her because she's doing other things that I really didn't expect. Working out, taking care of herself. She hasn't gained weight. She's steady. But her shape has gotten a lot better. You know, Marilyn's 43, man. She doesn't have one stretch mark on her. She never has. That's what I like. That turns me on. Now she's got the little apple back there from doing the squats and all of that stuff and being in the gym. Marilyn goes every day. She takes Sunday off, really. If she don't go to the gym, that's what I want. So that keeps me hungry, man. Now, if all of a sudden, things go wrong, the old prostate starts acting up, which, I'm not going to knock on any wood. It just doesn't happen. But like I said, health problems, you can't do anything about that. But if all of a sudden Marilyn, the way she looks, she's sitting there now with some short shorts on, cooking dinner. If I just open up that door and you see a gap and all that, man, come on in here. Give me that. Okay? Unfiltered Black and Brown, thanks for that super chat. He said, I know a guy who's still in a marriage because he's afraid of his wife getting half of everything he owns. Well, I'm sorry. She's just going to have to get half. But you got to know that going in. And then get you a lawyer. Okay? Get you a lawyer. And if he's in the West, surely the wife has accumulated some things. Because very seldom is your wife not working over there. If it is, that's on you. Are you rich already? Then if you're not allowing her to work or y'all come up to some agreement, yeah, then you got to take care of her if you get a divorce. But if she's got her own, but I'd rather give somebody, you can always get more money, guys. This is when people talk about prenup agreements, be honest. This is all we're worried about, our wealth and money. We don't think of nothing else. Granted, all my life, he said, virgins don't have the same expectations as two that have been turned out. If a couple have a lot of freak in them, they're going to need to let each other know what they both like. Yeah, do this in the beginning. Even if she's a virgin. But we don't do this stuff, man. We take for granted. We assume, you know what that does? It makes an ass out of you and me. That women and men are man readers. That they know what you expect. They know what you want and how often you want it. And then they don't. Okay? What's up? I love LaChan. He said, I would prefer not to get married, but most women won't marry. Even if you're in a relationship, we can just say I have a sexless relationship. Not just a marriage, but at some point, this is the reason why your relationship ends. You stop doing something or she stopped doing something, or you never started doing it. You don't know if the woman likes you to lick the kitty or not. Ask her. Let me try it if you don't want to, see? Because Marlon never tried it before. She said the man wanted to, but she was like, ugh, what are you going to do down there? But I turned it out. I turned it out. He said, Cal agreed, buy the car that you want and skip the marriage and future tax penalties. Well, he gave great information, and I'm just pass it on to y'all. If you get the right woman the first time, you're not going to have a problem. But we don't. Certainly over here, we rush, man. We're in such a damn hurry. Yeah. It was at 9:30 at first, but I had to go get that ladder. See, they're painting and then they're fixing some cracks. You know when you got the roof, the type of roof that I've got, it's that under, look, the ceiling of the roof where the uh, vents are. Well, he didn't put enough vents in. The engineer didn't. So it's causing cracks. So her brother, he's going to put some more, he's going to fix the cracks and put a couple of more vents so that to prevent that from happening. He said most 304s give up the panties early, then get married and married to settle down, meaning nothing. Well, I'm sorry, man. That's what the prenup is, prenuptial, before you get married. But all you gotta put down there is if we get a divorce, you're gonna get this and that, or you're not gonna get this and that. It doesn't say, oh, you need to maintain a certain weight. You need to take care of yourself. You can't let yourself go. You need to stay employed. Help me with the bills. We'll say this stuff, but we won't write it down. It won't be in an agreement. So you don't gotta have a leg to stand on. It's just like if the woman says, I don't want anything from you, and you believe her, then when you get divorced, she wants half. He said, what's up, Rashad? He said, I feel you. But as a black man, I love them big booty women with those marks. I know you look at black women like Ken, but I know you had a good run of sisters before you went yellow full time. Of course, but I didn't like stretch marks. It just depends. Some of them got big ass chocolate bars hanging out the side. But, that hasn't been the case. I've always liked slim women for real. Even though I had a big Shirley or two, but I really like slim women. No, you can always, the older you get, you're going to have your Social Security coming in, you're going to have your Medicare and all of that. I'm just saying that I'm not going to sit there and be miserable because stress will kill you. He says, money is harder to capture with age, especially if you're working in the corporate world, which most of us are. But that's why you invest and you save. And as you get older, of course, just like your investment strategy is going to change, your lifestyle is going to change. You're probably going to be, other than, health reasons, you're probably going to be spending less money. You're certainly not going to be going out. But I'm saying I would rather just go ahead and give her that money and be happy. Okay, then hold on to it, however much I have is, and die of stress. Hate to come home and all that. Yeah, there's a good side and a bad side to this. That's the bad side. At some point, they figure out, well, what am I missing out on? He said, thank God I married a virgin. Now she can't measure me up to anyone. Yes, she can. In her imagination. And she's going to start doing that. Like, well, what am I missing out on? And all that, virgins are overrated anyway. Now you got to train them and everything like that. It's messy. Because I had a virgin over here before, and I won't do it again. He said, hit the like button. Thank y'all. He said, you're probably one of the realest dudes speaking on the internet. I appreciate the knowledge, and I want to make my first trip to the Philippines. Hey, thank you, man. Because y'all real. That's what y'all want. I don't know any other way, Mr. 07. But now is a better time than ever to be in the Philippines. You know, they always talk about what the Philippines doesn't have, but what it does have is a lot of attractive women. So they can say whatever they want. And I didn't come here. That's what I'm going to talk about on my members only live stream. See, I watch a lot of the same videos y'all watch. And what trips me out is people want to live the same lifestyle that they live at home, only on less money. Because all they show you is, oh, look at the condo I got and how much it is and all that. And I didn't want that. The lifestyle I was living in America damn near killed me. I want something totally different. I don't want anything that resembles the life that I was living. Yeah, so some of them is like chocolate bars, man, hanging out. It's unattractive to me, man. I don't know about anybody else. But to me, it's unattractive. Maryland doesn't have one at all. Like I said, the party don't start till your clothes come off. Well, you've already exposed her to corruption. You already freaked the girl out and did everything, man, to her. Hey, welcome to the chat. He said, good morning, Brother Cal and crew, checking in from patio. What's up, Roger? Yeah, I have. I have had sister. I had a young lady, man. Her name was, we were the same age, but she was so much more mature than I was. Her name was Winifred Spinks, man. She rests in peace. And man, you talking about this woman could have been Thelma from Good Times. She had I was 16. She was 16. She had a diamond in her nose. And man, you talking about, we used to work together. Back then they had summer jobs. And, you know, I just never thought that the woman was really, you know, because everybody would sit around, we'd laugh and joke and different things. I never knew she liked me. So the last day on the job, when the summer was getting ready to get over with, we getting ready to go back to school. The day before, she said, yeah, tomorrow, let's go to the hotel. And I was like, what? I mean, she just came right out like that and said it. And so the next day she brings a half a pint of Old Foster and we go to the hotel, man. But she caught me on an off night. I was so nervous, man, you know. But yeah, I've had them like that, Rashard. Now, Big Shirley is Big Shirley, y'all. She's got some weight on her. You know, everybody knows what Big Shirley is. She's big. What's up, Roger? But yeah, no, I had them like that before. I don't know. He says, when's the next meet and greet? I'm trying to get in touch with my buddy John up in Bacolod because I did say I was going to do it first. If not, it's probably going to be in Manila because I'm getting boobies. I'm waiting on the embassy now to contact me back. He said, I know so many guys who have a full-time girlfriend and a wife on the side due to sexless marriages. Yeah, it's crazy. I know. I don't get it. Hey, Sam W., thank you, man, for your support. He says, good morning, everyone from Bali, Indonesia. Oh, man. He said, yeah, well, that's a damn headache because the girlfriend's going to give you a headache. Yeah, she was fine, but she died. I think she ended up with lupus or something. Not long after that, maybe 10 years after that, she was young. But remember, a 16-year-old girl, certainly her, because she was hip. She was out there. I wasn't. And a 16-year-old boy, man, they living in two different worlds. Because the hotel we went to, she could even get us in the hotel. They didn't even ask her for ID or nothing. It showed pornography on the screen. So she had been there before, man, and I never forget it. for the rest of my life. From that time all the way to the rest of my life, she had these candy stripe bikini underwear on, no bra, man. She was perfect. She was beautiful. And man, I fell in love with her, but I never saw her after that. Because I'm 16, she wanted me to lick the kitty. But I'm like, at 16, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. She wanted me to. And at 16, somebody was, doing that already. But yeah, she was fine as hell. He said, I wouldn't want to smoke. Wouldn't want to smoke with you. I'm not a violent person, though. Okay, here's Paul. Hey, Paul. Hey, Cal, I still think all men should have prenup with fidelity clause. I want to get you on here, man. Put up my email so that Paul can send me an email, Paul, and I'll send you a link, maybe for Sunday if you're available. I want you to go over those 13 things because I agree with you. There has to be not only a fidelity clause, but an intimacy clause. You're going to have to give it to me, really when I want it. Because as a man, certainly an older man, we're in a catch-22. A lot of older men can't get it up, so then the woman's dissatisfied. And then some guys like me, the testosterone is still flowing, and how you do it, you want it too much. So we can't win. So we got to agree to something. I don't get tired of paying the bills, so you're not going to get tired of blowing me down. I'm sorry. And if you don't understand that, then maybe we need to part ways. But I haven't had a problem with that. Only with my American wife. Okay, because they take you for granted. And it just got to the point where she wasn't turning me on anyway. She had gained so much weight, and then you got to beg and all of that stuff, man. And, first of all, that's what needs to go in there. No begging in that prenup agreement. I haven't begged since 2009, April 2009, when I started coming over here. It's a different culture. Brandon Clark, stocks passports. He says sexless marriage in the USA will continue to rise as more and more men in America are afraid to divorce. There's no incentive for her to do what you want if you are afraid to leave. Yeah, see? This is what I'm saying. I just gotta have to leave. He said, you won't have a lifetime with big women because the health factor won't let them. But we're dying before them. We're not taking care of ourselves. A guy said it. He said, just because the interest dies don't mean that you have to die with it. Exercise, eat right. He says testosterone, libido, boosters, and all of that. But other than health problems and aging, of course, this other stuff is bullshit. Stress and fatigue. Okay, I'll give you 15 minutes or 20 minutes to lay your ass down. You get off from work. And then, you got to drop the drawers or something. But they talking about stress and communication issues. Well, that's crazy, right? Wow. He said, for real, I've been telling my uncle about you. He just turned 65. This is real talk. I've been advising all the older men I run into to go to the field. Your motivation to me and all. Yeah, we got to bring something to the table, but I'm not begging anymore. That's for real. I'm done with that. There ain't nothing worse than begging, man. Your head's hurting, man. You angry, and I'm done with that. He said at beach, yeah, but so true. These guys are very high incomes, and as long as they are covering all the bills and expenses, the wives don't care. Hell, most of them have full-time boyfriends. Yeah, but what's the point then? I mean, it's not like, okay, they're saying emotional disconnect. If I got an emotional disconnect, I'm not going to be in the same house. I'm not even going to be around you. And okay, you got a boyfriend on the outside. I've got a girlfriend on the outside. Crazy, man. All because I'm afraid of losing my money or whatever. We're going to be able to work something out. Yeah, thank you, Beach of Life. Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, you got to come up with some stuff, because that's what the problem is out of the town. Assuming that our partners will keep their end of the bargain is a stretch. That's the crux of the problems with relationships. We think these women and men can read our minds. I'm sorry, they can't. He said at 16 he was already dining at the Y. I wasn't, man. I'm gonna tell you, I don't. Let me see. How old was I? I was older, because in the black community, that wasn't something that we, publicly stated. If you were doing that, well, it depends on how old are you, because in my time, it wasn't none of that, man. You talking about 1980, 1979? No, we wasn't doing that. And if you wasn't telling anybody. It wasn't something that was out there. I'm trying to think when I really did it. I want to say I was probably 30 years old, because the woman that, I really liked the woman, and she kind of told me what to do and showed me what to do. I've been doing it ever since, but I was a grown man. Yeah, but I'm not gonna get married here. I wasn't that crazy, but you can still get a divorce. He said, "What's the penalty for breaking the clause? Divorce is illegal in the Philippines. So what will you do? You can go home and get a divorce." And so many people have done that. Yes, it's a lot of things that you have to agree to, but we don't do it. Be honest, man. Raise your hand without ever put man down. If you remember your vows, you don't. You don't even know what you promised to do. So how you going to do it? So a list of demands or expectations is going to act as a reminder. Okay, this is what you said you were going to do, lady. If you don't do it, I'm out of here. Okay, you're going to, make sure that the house is clean. Ain't no, we can do it together. Well, if that's what we agree on, then okay. That you're going to maintain you're going to take care of yourself. You're not just going to let yourself go. And they say, if you love me, you'll love me anyway. No, I'm sorry. No, I won't. He says, it's worth grabbing a couple of solar-powered fan kits and installing your new vents. Relatively inexpensive and makes a drastic difference. I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into that. Thank you. He said there's a plethora of reasons why people stay, big bro, in the West. It's not an abundance of exceptions to that type of mindset. Sure, one can find a fair lady, but is it likely? Yeah, they stay together. I just don't understand why, though. I wouldn't stay with a woman under no circumstances if we're not having sex. I mean, unless you got some health problems. They done stitch that thing up or whatever it is. I mean, when a woman goes through menopause, you're going to be patient with her during that time. But then once she gets on the other side of that, it's on and popping again. Yeah, he said they want that baby face, keep sweat big. And he said, cow. No begging, man. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You're like, please, just, just once, just, all you got to do is just lay there or whatever it is, just touch it, put your mouth on it. Well, you get tired of that. Hey, Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, no one signs up for a sexless marriage. She waits until kids, mortgage, weight gain, then boom. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Not only don't we sign up for it, but we don't sign an agreement. Because remember, that will absolve that eliminate a sexless marriage. Because remember the three biggest reasons, the three main reasons for separation or divorce: sex, money, and third party. A third party doesn't have to be you fooling around and cheating. It could be you're telling all your business, or she's telling all the business to other people. But you can eliminate that right off the top if you're going to agree to it. Hey, what's up, Michael Onstad, Health Insurance in the Philippines? Thanks for that super sticker. I mentioned it today. You've got a meet and greet August 18th, which is not this Monday, but the following Monday in Manila. And I put the link, and I'm going to put it in the comment section here if anybody wants to attend that, because I'm going to look into that same hotel and see if I can have it there. If they're not going to charge anything, we're just going to bring them business. Those people were so happy Saturday. I mean, they literally was happy because it's under new management. They're not getting any business there. Not only did we give them all that restaurant business, but we sold out all their rooms. What times the travel said being fat doesn't mean unhealthy. Well, hell, depending on how big you are. A lot of times it does. I mean, just because they don't die don't mean they're unhealthy, because they're not going to the doctor. If you got a woman that's 5'3", 260 pounds, she's unhealthy, man, because you can't pick her up. She's bad for your health. That's for damn sure. There ain't nothing they can do to make that thing smell any better either. Yeah, he wasn't taking care of himself. Yeah, this is all I'm saying. This is what he's saying. That's why they call prenup. Before you get married, before you move in, before you start paying all the bills and everything. Because that's what a lot of guys do. They get over here and they start so fast paying bills and buying stuff. And then you're like, well, come on. It's time for an oil change. I don't do oil changes. It's too late. He said the thing is we have to be upfront in the beginning. If things aren't clear, then you can't blame the women for her ways. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He said the older the women get, the less they will be interested in sex due to hormonal issues. So the clause in the prenup will eventually be void anyway. Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons on here. It's got health problems, aging. I can deal with that. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to stay in a sexless marriage, though. Because that's what the prenup is. Once you get old and once you lose interest in sex, then I'm out of that. We've agreed to that. Okay. Wait, that's curly. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. Hun, let the curly in, he's yapping. But I don't expect an 80-year-old man, to get a divorce from an 80-year-old woman or a 75-year-old woman. But it's not going to be void. That's what the prenup is for. Because it's never void That's why when you get out of the marriage, there it is. I wrote it down. I'm only going to give you X amount of dollars or X amount of wealth or whatever it is. So it's not void. He said, I refuse to beg. Yeah, me too, man. No, he said, do they sell honey packs? Man, they sell all kind of stuff over here. He said, do they sell honey packs for them in the field for men who can't perform? When you came back to the States, you seen the honey packs in the stores. I didn't see them. But whatever they probably, let me tell y'all something about over-the-counter stuff and everything over here. It's stronger, man, than what's available in America. Unfiltered Black Abroad, thanks for that super chat. Said, you're actually right, Unc, because I literally had a long list of things that me and my wife agreed on before marriage. It wasn't a prenup, but it was something we agreed upon, like no male friends. What the hell? She's probably got that though, Q. Before, I mean, you ain't gonna hang around with them. I mean, you'd be like, yeah, you can't hang around with them. But she's got them on Facebook, man. You got me friends, Facebook friends that Filipinos got, and all of their accounts that they've got and different profiles, man. Hey, Raymond, welcome to the fourth quarter. Thanks for your support, man. But yeah, guys, it's just something that we have to come to terms with, man. It'll be like me getting married, then decide, I'm not even gonna pay any bills. I'm just, I'm not living up to my vows. I'm not keeping my promises. So she has every right to leave. Hey, Brandon Clark, Stocks Passports, thanks for that super chat. He said, just showing support. Great channel, Brother Cal. You're an inspiration to many worldwide, man. I appreciate that. I mean it, man. I try to just talk about real life stuff and let people know we got options, Brandon, man. Yeah, a weight clause too. I said that. Sal T, he said, she'll be a weight clause. And y'all think this stuff is shallow. But it's not. This is real life stuff that you're not going to agree with. You marry a dime piece and in 3 to 5 years, she becomes a nickel. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, now, the unspoken agreement where I talk about, this is a spoken agreement. The unspoken agreement is stuff that we already know to be true, Jacob. When I talk about an unspoken agreement between the Filipina on the dating site and the foreigner. These are things that we both agreed to without even saying it. Okay, I'm going to spend all this money on this airline ticket. When I get there, I'm going to pay for the hotel. I'm paying for the restaurant, the resort, wherever we go, the Lechon, everything. And you're going to give me the booty every day I'm here. That's expected. Look, y'all seen when I interviewed Marilyn the last time. She said, yeah, we know what y'all expect. We know what the foreigner expects. But yeah, this one, when you're talking about getting married or having a live-in partner, it has to be spoken. You can't take anything for granted. But like I said, what tripped me out was it said the average age of a sexless marriage, according to many reports, occur between 30 to 50 years of age. I couldn't believe it. That's too young, man, for some woman to be losing interest. Yeah, I'm with you here. He said, definitely in the Black community, I would say it didn't become normalized to the late 80s and beyond. Man, you would be rolled out if you told somebody you was licking the kitty back then when I was coming up. But you know, the guys I was in the service with, they were different. Certainly the white guys, you know, and they were like, yeah, man, you need to do that because you can't, you didn't understand because you'd never done it before. You didn't know what that meant to the woman. You know, all we was worried about, bragging about was how big and long it was, you know, not realizing the woman ain't getting no pleasure. Paul said I was seduced by a Georgia peach that took me to her hotel room, and I was putty in her hands. As I was 16, she was 32. Yeah, the same thing happened to me, except the woman was the same age as me. But she was light years ahead of me. She took me to the hotel. They even knew, you know, she had been there before, evidently, because all I did was paid for it. They didn't ask for ID or nothing. And remember, this is in 1979. We get in the room. It's just a regular hotel room, but when she cut on the TV, it's pornography. It's porno. And I'm like, wow. So she got the drink. We got the old folks were drinking. And then I guess when she thought, well, maybe it's hitting him now, and maybe he's looking at all this stuff, he's ready. She went in the bathroom and came out, man. And it's like, wow. I mean, she wanted me to lick that thing, man, and I wasn't ready. And I never got a second chance. I never got another chance, man. I mean, it broke my heart. I mean, I fell in love with this woman, man. She was beautiful, perfect in every way. He said, yeah, wouldn't that be something? But that's what I'm saying, though. This is the problem, because Will. Men and women, we aren't the same. We want it 30 times a month. They want it 7 times on average. It's just that's just going to be one of the reasons that I don't want, that I'm going to file for divorce. If you decide you're not going to have sex with me anymore, that's the grounds for divorce, in my opinion. I mean, that's almost like cheating. I mean, you know, and guys, you know, they're going to say what they want to say, you know, because for religious reasons or whatever. But, man, I'm not hanging around without that. He says, in my divorce decree, I put if she cohabited for more than 6 months in the house that we owned, it needed to be sold. I added this before the final decree. I thought the divorce decree was after the divorce. Because I still got mine from my American divorce, because I need it when I go to Manila with Booby. I needed that, and I said, I got that. And I've got it. Now imagine how long ago that was. We got married in 1996. We divorced in 2011. And I still got that divorce decree. But yeah, you know, you're talking about, you know, because we used to call it eating a woman out. And it just sounded so crazy, right? And nobody would admit to that. Okay? Now he says we will all abide by the will of God. This is my marriage vows. And that's it? That's not saying a whole lot. You know, certainly when it comes to sex, man, you know, but, you know, everybody's different. Like I said, if I'm 86 and she's 83, I get it, lady. You know, close your damn legs, you know, for good. You know, you just shut the business down. But if I'm 53, if I'm 56 and she's 53, no. Yeah, he said, well, the prenup would certainly test the seriousness of the relationship. If she questions it, then it's a problem. Yeah, see, they think that they're going to say, okay, everything you want them, everything they want you to you, they everything that they think you want to hear. They're going to tell you all that to get married. But no, lady, let's put it in writing. Because the minute we get married, now you don't forget. So this is just a reminder. I can pull it out every now and then when you talk about you're tired. Oh, and that's all you want. And we just did it 3 hours ago or whatever it is. Well, you said right here. He said, dining at the Y was just like taboo in the black community. Many years ago, it was crazy. Yeah, but they turned us out. He said in America and most Western countries, financial wealth is designed for married couples versus singles, especially in the corporate world of society. How many CEOs, leaders are single men or women? Yeah, few. Yeah, but it's just a show. That's all. Because a lot of them CEOs, you see the guy that just got busted on the Jumbotron. Same with these politicians. It's all a show. Now, over here, it's different. Duterte wasn't married when he was elected president. But there's no president in the United States that hasn't been married. The same is with religion. A lot of those guys, they really don't believe, but they'll tell you they believe in order to be elected to public office. He said, just touch it. Yeah. Yeah, all you got to do is just lay there. That's what it gets to the point where it's not even worth it. If you got a big and all that, and the woman's not, don't appreciate you enough, doesn't know enough about you as a man to know what you expect. But nobody teaches them about us, and nobody teaches us about them. But over here, they do. They know what their obligations is. This is what the women tell me. They feel it's their obligation. Okay. I've heard that so many times. I'm not making it up. He says, I could not stand a relationship with no sex. Well, it's not the absolute most important thing for me, but it's important. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're still able to have sex, if you're still capable, if everything is still working, and then all of a sudden, she stops because, like I said, the stress and fatigue from working. You need to get another job. Yeah, you got to be able to be picked up. See, they talking about, yeah, just because you big don't mean you're unhealthy. Yeah, you're unhealthy. You're making me unhealthy. Yeah, you're bad for my health. When I lift them big ass tree trunks up and get a sniff of that, there ain't nothing you can do to clean that thing. Because all day long her thighs is rubbing against each other. Then it's gonna take more than Irish Springs to get that thing clean. He said, I swear if they ever make female robots that can cook, clean, and look and feel like the actual real thing. No, that ain't gonna happen, man. Now I would take a Big Shirley over a robot though. Help them robot. He said pre-nut or prenup. Yeah, both. He said regards. Freeland Jones said regards me to James, my friend. Who? Which James? He said I was lucky when it came to sex. In my relationships, I had two women at the same time. Well, as long as you can hold up your end of the bargain, because we talking about her end, but it works both ways. I know why a lot of women hang in there, certainly over here with these older guys, because he's paying all the bills. They don't care. They'll sit there and try to rub it and tug it and beat on it and everything because they know it ain't not gonna happen. It's like beating a dead horse. Yeah, this stuff over here, some of this stuff is strong. I told you I had a guy, he was used to follow my channel. He wanted me to offer his products to y'all. And he's from Singapore. He's a Singaporean. And he sent me some stuff from his store. 5 things. Man, they all work. Merlin's like, no, you got to give that stuff away because it really worked. He had gummies. He had something called a tuxedo. I mean, this stuff was real. But I want to finish, man. I just don't want to sit there and beat the woman all night. You know, I don't want to hard on for 3 hours. I think that would be uncomfortable. Hey, booby. Hi, Daddy. Here. Bye. See you later. Get out of here. In a lot of ways, yeah. You know, that's true. But that's why a lot of guys want to hold on to their woman. He says she's young and shy, so she really doesn't have no friends, luckily. Now, she got friends. If you only knew, she's got batchmates, people she graduated high school with and everything like that. Yeah, you got to know. But this is real stuff right here. A weight cause, you should have put it in there. And that's kind of like your responsibility because you got to inspire that. See, people don't realize I'm the one that started Maryland on this health kick and stuff. When we lived in our first apartment together, I would do my routine and she would do it with me. And her form was so perfect. I told her way back then, this is 2019. I said, you ought to start a YouTube channel and kind of try to inspire, Filipino women, mothers, certainly, to get in shape. She didn't want to do it. Now, look, fast forward 6 years. That's what she's doing, basically, but she don't have a channel. He said no pig feet sandwiches. But a weight class, man, because my Filipino wife picked up, she's not as big as what them guys was making her out to be, putting her on these videos and stuff, right? Which they were wrong for that. Woman never bothered them. See, those guys are weak, man. When you do that, I would never even do their wives like that. It's not like they got damn pieces. But when you do stuff like that, because when I met my Filipino wife, she was 36, 26, 36, and she didn't even weigh 100 pounds. I mean, she had a perfect shape. But when she had our son, and then moved to America, she did pick up some weight. But she still was built. She didn't have no problem getting a man over there. He said, how about me and my husband, no prenup? Well, prenup, when you think about a prenup, Freeland Jones, it's not just about money. But that's what we think about. We only think about money and property. We never think about all the other things like intimacy, which is sex. Are you going to cook? Are you going to clean? Are you going to take care of yourself and remain attractive to me? Okay, you're not going to give me stress and all of that. See, this is stuff you tell your man and he tells you, but then on down the line, you forget about it. You stop doing it because if not, we would still be out with our original partners. I always say this, relationships usually end because one or both of the parties stopped doing something they said they was going to do. They promised to do, or they never started doing it. They're like, yeah, I don't have a problem giving you a blowjob. I guess you give your husband a blowjob when he wants it. That would keep him happy. That's for sure. Now, this is good. He says, I'm finding out that if you and your wife have different ideas about retirement, you're screwed. Oh, yeah. Wow. This would be a great topic to have if I had a retirement couple. Yeah. because honestly, that's really what happened to my marriage. I was ready to retire over here, and my wife didn't want to really. She said it, and after 6 months, she was gone. She didn't want to. So yeah, you're exactly right about this. You are screwed. It's not gonna work. Somebody's gonna be unhappy. But remember, it wasn't wrote. I didn't write that down. She agreed to it. She said, "Oh yeah, we can do that and this and that. Yeah, well, the cost of living is gonna be so much lower in the Philippines, and everything they say that they're gonna say everything you want to hear." And then after a while, they stop doing it. Yeah, well, see, Maryland, he said Maryland's real comfortable in front of the camera now. Great interview. Y'all don't understand. Maryland used to be way up there in the network marketing, where Maryland used to travel all around Negroes Island doing these seminars and stuff. She's got pictures and stuff here of her standing in front of a room full of people, and she's talking about the products and stuff. You know how it is. He said, "Hey, Cal, do you think me have to worry about that in the Philippines not getting it when you want it?" Well, yeah, if you don't talk to the woman in the beginning, that you don't have to worry about as much as you did in the West, because they feel it's their obligation. How many times has Marilyn said those words? And the other women I've dealt with, now remember, we're talking about men who are keeping their end of the bargain too. Everything you promised to do, you're doing it. See, otherwise, why would she do it? He said, getting married is a big deal. It ain't happening. Yeah, it is a big deal. He said, one of the things that can happen in a marriage contract, the woman can gaslight on you until after she gets married to you and stop doing what you like. He said, a prenup is absolutely necessary. It is, guys. Y'all know, man, if you're married right now, or if you're in a serious relationship, you've forgotten everything you promised to do anyway. Certainly the vows. You don't know your vows. Ain't no sense in you going back trying to find them and reading them on here. You don't forget. So you don't even know what you promised to do. Only thing you remember is through sickness and health. That's all any man remembers. All the other stuff you don't remember. What you gonna do? yeah, it takes them to a whole other level. Because when I met Marilyn, she had never. He said the kitty game. Yeah, imagine she was 36, and she said she had only had 3 orgasms. She said in her whole life, and I believe her, because over here it's different, man. It's the wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and they only do it at night, basically. When she gets off work, the man gets off work after they eat and all that, the kids go to sleep. That's when they do it. They're not like us. We'll do it any time of the day. And they got to get used to that. See, she's like, I'm not used to this. And then, because one of the first things she told me that she liked about me, she was like, well, what's different? She said, all the positions and different things. Yeah, because I have in that damn pretzel position where, you got the legs all the way back as far as they go, and then you wrapped around them, and then you go to work. But yeah, now she gets it anytime she wants, and you get used to that. So imagine if I just stopped doing that. Yeah, she's gonna hang around because I'm doing all the other stuff. Yeah, the divorce decree is after. He said you gotta have it in writing, as it is our protection as mentally. They got us by the nuts emotionally, as we just catching up like a puppy dog on a leash. Yeah, you gotta have it in writing. They're gonna forget. It's just a reminder. He says more like eating in. Yeah, we called it eating her out back in them days. Yeah, man is saying though, I think. But yeah, as long as Pre-Lynn Jones, as long as you're doing, you've got an unspoken prenup. Well, there's some things you and your husband both have agreed to do. But you can't assume that they're going to hold up their end of the bargain all the time. That's why sometimes over here, you have to remind the girl of what you're doing. It's not keeping score. It's like, what were you doing before I showed up? Because they're human beings like everybody else. They'll forget. It's not that they're trying to be, nasty or anything like that, but they just forget. And they'll take you for granted like anybody else. Yeah, but hell, will you marry? We're talking about in modern times, guys. James Buchanan, what year was he? Mr. Ed, he said, yeah, James Buchanan is the only U.S. president who was not married at the time of his election. But a lot's changed since then, though. Right now, that's not going to happen. You're not getting in that Oval Office as a single man. You won't even get in there married to a man. Or a woman married to a woman, you're not going to get in there. Times have changed. That's not going to happen. We're talking about now. Yeah, you can go way back in the day, hell, when black people couldn't vote. What's up, Derek? Yeah, thunder thighs. Yeah, you it's hard to, that you with a big Shirley if she's got those, if she's white, she's got them pink marks in between her thighs where the thighs is rubbing all day, or if she's a black woman, this dark right there on both sides. Chocolate thunder is what I call it. And you know that when she got on the underwear, you can see right where the legs come out of the underwear on both sides and her inner thighs. You see either the dark or the red. Hey, Mark, thanks for that super chat. He said, Mr. Roach, I would say that I'm not in agreement with almost all of your viewpoints, but I'm willing to show support to try and unify brothers abroad and here living the dream home in the great USA. Hey, thank you. But we don't have to agree. And I think if you don't know, you'll know now that I don't want to be surrounded by yes men. If I'm going off the cliff, Mark, I want you to tell me, hey, dude, you're getting ready to ride off the cliff. I don't agree. I didn't agree with everything my mother said. Me and my mother would have some of the most heated discussions, man. We loved each other. But yeah, it's not about always agreeing because my life is my life. My perspective is my perspective and yours is yours. As long as we can respect that, that's all. But to say that you're probably not in agreement with anybody but yourself. Yeah, it's called Chocolate Thunder. he said, Cal, you killing it today. We the same age, but I first ate it at 17 and didn't tell nobody. Yeah, I didn't know, man. I wasn't. It just wasn't something, man, you was looked at as real crazy if you did that. If do you eat it? Do you eat out? And even the girls didn't. Man, black women wouldn't even give you a blowjob back in the day. If she had to really be in love with you, and don't tell anybody. If you tell anybody, and then even if you did tell somebody, she denied. till she died. Hey, man, he said, had a great time at the meet and greet. Looking forward to the next one. Keep it up. Hey, thank you, man. We did have a good time at the meet and greet. It was a nice location. What's he saying? Oh, demoing those bots are unreal. Yeah, what do you mean? He said they're looking more and more realistic, but they're not real, man. It's still a robot. We had to talk the other day. It don't matter. You still fucking springs and shit at the end of the day. That's what it is, man. You cannot duplicate the human body, man. Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, not to change the subject. He said, was all of Marilyn's friends single at the table? Yeah, but, those girls, they're players, man. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of players over here now. And certainly, if they've dealt with foreigners before, or they know somebody who's dealt with a foreigner. These dating sites, man, I made a video a long time ago. The best job in the Philippines is chatting with a gullible foreigner on one of these dating sites. Those women, they're not going to have a problem with getting a man, Filipino or not. Those women there, they've got more. Every woman at that table, besides Marilyn and then Ren and, the other ones at the end. I'm talking about the ones who was with Marilyn. They have more than one man at one time. They're playing one against the other. You have to be careful, man. Nowadays with this internet over here, you got to be almost like what Q in the Philippines said. He got a virgin. She was 18. The Filipino women are good, but there's a lot more of them now we've corrupted them. We did that. We made it so easy. We give them all this money. And they're like, well, why do I ever have to be committed to you? Now, sometimes it can be the opposite. Remember the Brazil, the girl that she would have been there, but she was killed. She got ran over by the truck. As fine as she was married to some young, or dating some young foreign man, or married to him. I don't know which it was. They were supposed to be in a relationship. He didn't even want her. He's acting like, he can have any woman he wants. I'm like, dude, you don't want that, man. That woman was man, she was fine. And she had a good attitude because she had gotten tired of him. I promise you this. You can ask Merle. I'll bring her in here. Right before this girl got killed, she had asked Merlin to ask me to interview her. She wanted to find somebody else, somebody who really appreciated her. I'm like, well, that'd be easy to do. But yeah, those women, they're players, man. And it's so many of them now that you see them, they're players. You got to be real careful, man, because they know they're attractive. They know you older, and, they knowing that men are out here bidding. They're basically going to the highest bidder because they wanted to make it clear we got our own money. I couldn't buy them nothing. The only thing that I did was at the meet and greet when, I paid for their food and their drinks. Other than that, shit. They wanted to make it clear we got our own money. And they did. They had more money than me. And one lady, I ain't going to say which one, had a stack of thousands. And she don't even work. So I know where she's getting that from. Yeah, but you got to understand that she's not a big bag to some of these guys, man. These women over here, they've got so many suitors. Hey, welcome to the chat, Hal. Certainly if you're not over here, they're going to play games with you. Remember Seth Travel Vlogs, he said, we want you over here. You don't have to leave. That's the only way you would be able to trust some of these women. The minute you leave, man, somebody's in their DM. Excuse me. One of those girls was the one that was, while she's chatting with the man, like, see, you can't see below my waist. There was another man in her bed licking a kitty. Yeah, and she did that all the time. She's had so many, man. You got to be careful, guys. If you find a good woman over here, it's best. He said, "What's up, Richie Rich, man? I was hoping y'all could have made it." He said, "I'm a pie eater. That's how I get down." Yeah, well, we are now, but we're saying when we were younger, you wouldn't dare admit that you was eating that pie. He said, "She don't have to be a supermodel, but she can't be bigger than me. Chang teaches yoga and her mind and body are both super flexible." Enough said. Yeah, see, that's all I'm saying. Now, imagine, okay, you see, hey, K Dallas, thanks for your support. Okay, now you have to understand. Now, okay, you see Maryland right now. If Maryland all of a sudden put on the 60 pounds, we have to have a talk. Okay, I'm sorry. If she ever lost that little apple back there, we'd have to have a talk, man. Yeah, we've made them players, though. You got to be over here, man. Well, some of them still don't think they're all that, but you got enough of them that do. Remember, Brian, when you tell a woman, when the whole world tells you how good looking you are, how pretty you are, you start believing it. But when you get over here, there's still a lot of women who are very humble, man. You got to realize 1.3 million Filipinos turn 18 every day. So you're not going to have a problem meeting a woman who is still traditional, but it's just too easy to play us over here if you're not here. If you're young like that, you know, that's just how it is. You know, they're paying for boob jobs and everything now. I haven't. He says, Cal, have you heard about the big HIV and STD outbreak in the U.S.? Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me. Hey, hon, come here for a minute. I need you to wait. No, just stay there. Can y'all stop and get a fit right? How's this open? And I didn't want to pay that I didn't really want to pay that $7,000 for that damn ladder. And I ain't got no choice. Well, we'll get our money's worth out of it. Yeah, I paid that damn, it was 6,950 pesos for that damn ladder, but no, I never heard of that. But I'm not surprised. He said, "Big bro, change the subject while it's on my mind. That Tom Young, the Chan dude, and you have similar thoughts on how foreigners should behave in Southeast Asia. His approach is crass." I don't really watch him. I don't know what his thing is. I know that he doesn't have a whole lot of good to say about anybody. You know, he's a lot younger than we are. You know, and they look at it. They look at the whole situation differently because Vince Lawson showed up at my meet and greet. He's always been a follower of my channel, but we don't agree because, hell, he's 38. When I met him, he was 35 or 36. No, 35. So, of course, he's not going to agree on certain things that I say because he's so much younger. He's from a whole different generation. They don't even look at it like that. And I'm saying, but it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, or whether you agree with me or not. 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy, you're going to pay over here. Okay, and you ain't gonna fool yourself. Yeah, they paying for all kind of stuff over here now. That used to be unthought of. Now men are saying, "Yeah, you want some boobs? I'll pay for them." Hey, what's up, Mike? From Hawaii. Wow, wow. Houston's a hot spot. Yeah, with all these old drugs and stuff, man. Uh, Imagine, okay, especially when you look at with this fentanyl and stuff, man. You see these people, they just, it's like they sleep, but they standing up and bending over and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, good and damn well they're not working. So if the woman's out there, they doing something. He said that's exactly why I'm not down with Filipino lady, Filipino mo. Yeah, they really, well, not so much Filipino P, but the rest of them, yeah, they plan us. You know, Filipino P is really on another level than those other girls. Does she hustle us? Yeah, because she's a woman and she knows that they just want to look at a Filipino and they're more likely are going to send her money and different things like that. But I think she really has somebody. She just hasn't shown them. But these other girls, they just trying to play you. He said, do you think a small resort business is a good idea in the Philippines? It just depends on where you are. You certainly have to be either in the mountains or by the beach. Otherwise, what's the point? And I saw where they've done it, like in Siquijor Island, uh, Dolce Amore, the Italian restaurant. I tell y'all that I really like. Well, when me and Merlin first met, that was our first date. Was there? When we ate there, they didn't have the hotel. They got like 8 hotel rooms now, swimming pool, right? Attached to their property. So they made their restaurant now. They've got a resort now, but it's on Siquijor Island. He said a friend messaged me that fentanyl pills are selling now for 25 cents a piece. Wow. But yeah, it's just so many of them. It's so plentiful now. He said every Filipino with a small chest wants a butt injections and a breast job. Not all of them, because some of them really look good without it. Merlin doesn't have big breasts, and I'm not a breast man. I'm more of a leg man. See, Merlin's legs, man, are like a volleyball player, like a track player. See, that's what I like. Because, he said, Cal always spitting facts unfiltered. There's too many sugar coated. It's as your eyes get open once your boots on the ground after 6 months and 1 year. And you know the game and just be careful. Yeah. We were talking about this before. I think we were talking about, Paul. If people don't really appreciate what vloggers are saying, certainly vloggers like me, until you get over here. You're not gonna really you can't relate because you're still over there. You're still up here. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, don't tell me back. Yeah, that's what they say. They say that. But over here it's different. It's like um they feel it's their obligation to make you happy, but then we're not talking about marriage though. Once you start talking about marriage, you got to put that in writing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's got somebody. I mean, she's 30 something years old. Well, I mean, Geo's ex, what's her name, Maya? And she's attractive, but I don't want any woman that Geo's had or any other foreigners had. It's enough women over here. You don't have to do that. I don't want a woman over here because it's different when you date over here. Women here, man, they're just so much. They just treat you so much better than what you're used to. So I don't want somebody else's better. I don't want to go behind some other man because I know that Filipinos literally will bend over backwards for the right man. Okay. If you really taking care of your business and you doing what you say you're gonna do, you're a decent human being. She's bending over backwards. There ain't no ifs and buts about it. Nothing's off the table. She will literally do anything for you. So I don't want that. It's not like in America, the same begging you doing, the man she had before you was doing. And then what I don't know won't hurt me. In America, man, it's only like 2 degrees of separation. You either know somebody in the woman's family or you know her ex or somebody in his family. See, I don't want that. But I certainly don't want to go behind any man over here. Okay? But that's just how it is. But expats, nexpats, I mean, they don't care. They just want a Filipino. They want the next man's woman. They don't care that she's been through the ringer, basically. That's all. Yeah, he said P is 32 now. She definitely have a dude down in Florida. There's a reason she's staying in the U.S., but hasn't left the South. She's smart and just doesn't talk about him. Yeah, if I was a Filipino vlogger, I wouldn't tell either. Why would you tell that? It's just like Justin Bieber he broke a lot of hearts when he told those young girls he was getting married. You want to give the people, they want to still think they've got a chance. Yeah, you just really don't want that, man, because first of all, you're going to pay for what he did or what he didn't do. And she probably was in love with him, so she's probably still in love with him. And I just don't want that. He says Geo's women was a red flag in my opinion. Any woman dressing half naked is up to no good. Well, I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to talk like that. But I do know that they were together. That's all I need to know. They lived together, so I don't want to go behind him. That's all. That's one of the. Or if she smokes, I don't want a woman who smokes either. See, one thing that I fall out with guys about, certainly guys who don't really be over here, who've never really been over here, who don't know what they're talking about. They say that we settle for the low-hanging fruit. They're only going by looks. They're not going by character and the quality of the woman because they don't know what they're talking about, man. Some of these women over here, man, the quality is way up there. You may be the only man they've ever dealt with, or two, or something like that. Their character says a whole lot more about them than they looks. I think you shallow when all you going by is looks, and you're gonna get burnt going by looks only. I mean, it's like y'all talking about that girl Maya. She's a nice looking woman. Somebody's gonna get burned fooling with her based just on her looks. Yeah, she's staying over there for some reason. But but I don't even think men would even care because, everybody has their own preferences, certainly as far as looks is concerned. Little bitty women like that, they've never really turned me on anyway. Okay. I've got to have a little bit, I got to have a slim thick, there's just nothing there. I mean, she just doesn't turn me on, but I'm not hurting her feelings. You know what I'm saying? He said on Filipino Cupid, most women are looking for sponsorship. Well, they're not really. If you sign up for a dating site and you get inundated with all these requests, yeah, they're looking for a sponsorship. But the real women very seldom go chosen on those sites. We get on there. We don't even, all we do is sign up. And when the women are messaging us, we message back. That's the worst thing you can do. You got to start choosing the women. There's a method to that madness on those dating sites. Once I figured it out, man, I could go on the dating site tomorrow and pick out a good woman. But if you don't know, you're just going to go on there. Oh, man, look at all these messages I get. And you're going to start messaging these women. They look good. They got good profile pictures and stuff like that. And you're going to end up, when you finally chat with her, my baby's sick. My mother's in the hospital. My father died again. And you're going to get all of that. But a real live Filipino woman is not going to ask you for any money. She already knows her reputation already. Even though she probably needs money, she's not going to ask you. Because she knows their reputation. She knows the minute she asks, you're going to put her in the same basket with all the rest of them. Oh, she's a scammer. She only wants my money. They're never going to do that. And a real life Filipino is never even going to reach out to you. But all you have to do, you got to get that filter working, guys. If I'm in Cebu, I'm not trying to meet women from Manila and Davao. Well, Davao maybe, it's not that far. But you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to meet somebody in that area within a certain radius of where I'm staying. I wouldn't even go past 50 kilometers. Then you put the age in there because otherwise you're always going to show up on somebody's feed. So you can't get rid of the old women sending you messages because they've got their filter set from 18 to 80. So you're going to show up, but they won't show up on your feed. Stop running after the 10s and 15s in looks. That's not the Filipino you want over here anyway. Okay? Because they're playing games. They're going to play games. Hey, Eric Powell, thanks for that super chat. He said, preach, brother, beauty's on your skin deep. It is. And this is why guys be like, this is why guys be like, oh, y'all picking the bottom of the barrel. They don't know what they're talking about. Because they're only going by looks. Well, if you want looks, go to the bar. That's where the beautiful women are. The ones who look good, have a nice body. They're bar girls. If that's what you really want. But if you want a quality woman that's probably graduated from college, okay, that's probably had one man, two at the most, okay, that's respectful, that's not going to play games with you and all that traditional over here in the Philippines, then that's probably what you're going to end up with. But she's not going to look like a 15. No, I don't mean, I mean like this. I mean like this. I don't like, and that's what she is. She has nothing that she don't have no legs, no butt, no nothing. Remember, a lot of her stuff is filter and AI and stuff like that. When you see her in person, okay, you'll see what I'm talking about, but that don't mean nothing. I'm not saying that she's not attractive, but she's not attractive to me. But yeah, I like small women, but not tiny women, not a stick figure. You know, I want something. But they're all on the same women are all on all the dating sites. Q. He said Christian Filipinos is a scam only because they want so much money. See? But all the women, what Filipino in a right man wouldn't sign up for all the dating sites, especially the ones where she doesn't have to pay? They're all on the same, they're all on the same women are on all the sites. So if you a man, all you gotta do is sign up for one site. They're all gonna be on there. If you over here dating Asia, it's free. Absolutely 100% free to go back and forth with the women. You don't have to pay anything. Okay. But there's a method to that madness, man. But you guys, y'all haven't mastered it yet. And once you do, you're not gonna have any problem because that's where they are. That's where they are. That's where they feel comfortable meeting you. It's not that you can't meet them on the street. It's what they're comfortable with. They don't feel comfortable meeting you on the street. Everybody's watching. They want to do it discreetly. And then once they figure out, okay, me and this guy, we click and everything, then, okay, they're going to bring you out to the family, to the friends and stuff like that. They don't want you running up on them at the grocery store and all that, man. Does it happen? Yeah, but that's not really what they want because they don't want people watching. But yeah, there's a method. Yeah, he died again. Well, I mean, like that. You know, you guys really don't. A lot of times the Filipino P's on her videos, she's either sitting down or something like that. She's got a little exercise video that I watched. It was a short. And I didn't realize she was that thin and that, that's all. Yeah, he died again. It's true, though. He says, that's why I married my woman. She never asked for money. What? A smart Filipino would never ask you for money. Okay, she's just not going to do it. She doesn't have to ask you for money. Merlin didn't ask me to build this house, but I know she's glad I did. She knew that she's happy I did. He said, my buddy told me there are a flood of American chicks on these foreign dating sites to compete and to keep guys in the United States. Wow. Well, they seem to know their role, really. It's just some cultural things you got to get straightened out with women over here. Believe it or not, man, a lot of them, they've never had oral sex before and different things like that we ask them to do. The bar girls and stuff, but I'm talking about the traditional Filipinos that go to the Catholic church every Sunday and all that stuff like that. They're just not into that. You got to kind of introduce them to stuff like that. And, assure them that's not going to hurt you. You're going to enjoy it. But that's the only thing you really got to deal with. Most of the time, I'm just telling you what. Okay, I've had 3 relationships over here. They all told me the same thing. It's just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's just, he's getting on top, doing his thing, and that's it. Well, when you come over here, you're going to do something a whole lot different. What's up, Gary T? He said, will you and Marilyn do another vlog? Yeah, I'm trying to get her to do at least once a week. Certainly if she wants that car. And that's what I told her. See, that was a spoken agreement. You want that car? You got to do one a week. It's no big deal. I'm just going to ask you the same damn questions. He says, I enjoy listening to your lady's perspective as a Filipino. See, she's a real Filipino. She's like Ching, really. If you listen to Ching. They just real. They just tell you what's really going on, what's really in their mind. They're not trying to sugarcoat it or make it sound better. Maryland's really sincere. He said, now you're really preaching, brother. Those beautiful women are often going to be a headache. Yeah. I'll take the woman with a good heart, kind, pleasant. She doesn't have to be a 10. And this is what they're missing out on, Richie Rich. But you got one already. See? They don't know what, well, I guess, it's all subjective. It's all subjective, but that's all they want is a good looking woman. Well, damn, is that all you want? You're going to be disappointed then. You're not going to get everything that you see men over here getting. He said, nah, P just reads the script. Yeah, but I'm saying at least, she's not like Filipino lady, Filipino Wonder and all those, what's the other one? The one that finally bought her boyfriend out. What's her name? I met her before. I interviewed her. She interviewed me. She's a good girl, but I'm saying she's like that too. And she claimed that the Filipino P encouraged her to bring her boyfriend forward. And I said, no, you don't want to do that. Forgot her name because he's a good guy. I met him. He's from England, I think. But I told them both because I was in the car with him. We was in Dumaguete getting ready to go to the interview. And they said, well, what do you think? I was like, I wouldn't tell. Nobody's business. But I guess they bowed down to the pressure, and she told her channel ain't been the same since. Because at the end of the day, man, people, they really don't care. The only piece of advice I gave that young girl was this. I said, look, you on top right now. That money's flowing in. You need to do something with that money. Build your family a house or something. Okay, whether she did it or not, I don't know. I said, because this money is not going to keep coming in like that. Do it now while you can so you can look back and say, well, at least I did something with my money. I did tell her that. Because people giving you that advice like, oh, yeah, tell them you got a boyfriend, knowing good and well it's going to hurt your channel. At the end of the day, they really don't care. And when it comes to a lot of the women over here who really need that money, you need to do everything you can to maintain that advantage, to keep that money coming in. Yeah, Date in Asia. Yeah, Date in Asia is the site. It's absolutely free. But you better, if you're not here, you better have a VPN that says you're here. Because if they read your IP address, it's coming from outside of Asia, they're going to cancel your subscription. Hey, Ruby. Yeah, they don't like all that PDA. They really don't want you. Once you get established with them, yeah, they'll hold your hand and hug and stuff and walk. But they really don't feel comfortable with you running up on them. They want to meet you on the dating site. That's where they're comfortable meeting you. There's no shame in meeting a woman on the dating site. I don't know who told y'all that. Because most of the men you see, the overwhelming majority of men you see with these women, they met them on the dating site. Well, because they think every Filipino woman looks good. Remember, it's all subjective. She is a lot of those guys' dream. He said, yeah, Christian Filipino would immediately start spamming you with calls to join and pay their ridiculous prices. Yeah, that's the only difference. Their prices are high. Some guy who stayed over here, he bought a lifetime membership. I'm like, dude, why would you spend all that money on a lifetime membership? You don't need him more than 30 days. Yeah, there are some speed dating going around. She said, Cal, with years you've been living in the Philippines, you know if there are speed dating going around. But they're set up by a company that arranges everything. They arrange your trip over here, your hotel, and then they take you to these speed dating. That's really all it is. When you get 4 or 5 men in a room full of 25, 30 Filipinos, and then they'll put you at a table with 10 Filipinos, and then you go to the next table until you meet them all. Because my son's mother, she was invited. They getting the women off the dating sites. Okay. That's where they get them. You just meeting, the dating site is just real time. It's the same women on the dating sites, but because she said that she was invited and she went to one. But yeah, that's what they do. They speed date. You sitting there, but I can't do that. You got 10 women looking down on you, and you're supposed to pick one, the one that you compatible with or you click with. And I'm sure they're successful. That's why they're still around. I forgot what they call that company, but yeah. But, you know, you can do the same thing yourself, really. He said, I was scammed, Calvin. I got to reschedule the plane ticket to September 6th. Glad I didn't give her no money. The condo is called a Villa Rella in Cebu City. He said there are so many American chicks on Filipino Cupid now, it's crazy. He said, Cal, can you give 5 things to look for on the dating site? Yeah, well, you have to be in control, first of all. The first thing is don't answer those. When you first sign up for the dating site, you get all those messages. Those are bots and scammers. Don't pay attention to any of them. Don't answer any of them. That's the first thing. The second thing is to set your filter. If you know you're going to fly into Manila, then set your filter for Manila, 50 kilometers around Manila. And then the age, if you like them young, then put 18 to 30 or 18 to 25. They've even got children and no children, religion and all of that. You have to use that to your advantage. Then those are the only women that's going to be coming across your feed. Then you go through there. This is the third thing you do. You go through your feed and you pick out 10 women, just 10 regular looking Filipino women. They're going to look better in person. Okay, you got 10 of them. And you're going to message all 10 of them. But you're only going to say something simple like, hey, I'm Calvin. I like to meet you. Then you're going to wait. Okay, you're only going to message, you're only going to reply to any of those 10 that reply back to you. If anybody else replies, you're not going to do it. You're only waiting for those 10. And the last thing I can tell you is make sure that she's not online all the time. That's a dead giveaway right there. Filipinos, they can't afford to be online all the time. They're either at school, they're at work, they're doing something, trying to make ends meet. They don't have the money to sit on those dating sites like that. So you may, one of the 10 women that you choose is probably, if you're on Filipino Cupid, it's going to be like, haven't been seen in 48 hours. They're going to tell you when the last time she was online. That's what you want. At least 48 hours. Because you know they're doing something else. You know they're not just sitting on there meeting men, fishing for men. Avoid them green lights, guys. Avoid them green lights. If you log in and you see the woman with the green light, meaning she's online, don't fool with them. He said, I need to find me a Filipino that will help me clean my CPAP machine and not feel embarrassed about it. And I worry she won't judge me. Well, you're not going to have a problem with that. 18 to 80 blind crippled are crazy. As long as you're going to do what you say you're going to do, I've seen worse over here. Okay, remember, it's really a game, man. It's, does it evolve into something different later on? Yeah, but for the most part, guys, the game, and you just got to know the game. But I've seen worse, man. Oxygen tanks, wheelchairs, walkers, the whole 9 yards. Blind men. Okay, they got nice looking women. They got nice women over here. But as long as you doing what you supposed to do, you're not going to have a problem. Well, they're really not. He said, yeah, you can do that. There's so many videos like that on YouTube. He said, maybe I'll make a video about the best dating app in the Philippines. Hell, that's how I got my wife. But there is no best dating site. They're all the same. They got the same women on there. But if you do the things I told you to do, you're going to find you a good woman. We're looking for a yummy six. If you're 60 years old, if you're 50, and you come over here and get a true yummy six, a Filipino yummy six, man, you're going to be happy as a lark, man. You're going to have no complaints. Probably graduated from college, got a good reputation and all of that, man. You're going to be happy. You can't be looking at what these other guys got. What's considered human trafficking? Dating sites? Dating sites aren't human trafficking. Now, y'all notice that I don't interview Filipinos anymore. That could be looked at as human trafficking. Some of what these young Filipino vloggers be doing with these other Filipinos, they be interviewing because the title will be 18-year-old looking for a foreign man. Now, that's human trafficking, and to me, that could be interpreted as human trafficking. I don't do that, but the dating sites aren't human trafficking. I don't know what you're talking about, Neil. Explain that to me. What's human trafficking? No, it's not one-on-one. I'm pretty sure they have it. In the Philippines, they're going to have anything but that the West has. But the speed dating that we talk about, you're going to be at a table with 10 Filipinos. And then you go, it's like 3 tables, maybe 4, depending on how many's there. And you're going to go, y'all going to rotate. Yeah, they are. A lot of them. The man even, they watch your channel. He says, I've heard numbers going around like 500 plus that Christian Filipinos paying these vloggers to be a sponsor. That's a lot of money. They must be raking in money. Well, no, they came to me. They said, yeah, I know that you're not an advocate of, dating sites. That's what they said to me. They got me wrong, but I'm not going to sponsor you because I can't work over here. I don't have the right visa, to do that. But the young girl I was telling you about, 1 month she earned $6,000 from Christian Filipino because those guys, she had it on her, in her comment section, and they were signing up. She earned $6,000 1 month off Christian Filipino alone. But it's like a commission. First of all, I don't trust any of those sites. Remember, Mark Thornton lost his channel like that because you got to go in there and click, and you got to give them access to your statistics and all that. Your analytics rather. That's the reason why I don't want to deal with that stuff, man. It scared me to death. I think Old Dog New Tricks helped him get his channel back. But yeah, they came in and took his channel. It was a Levi. Somebody sent him an ad to sponsor Levi's. And he clicked in it and everything, and they ended up taking over his channel. He said, full disclosure, I have no problem admitting I sent money to more than one Filipino to load their phone. Yeah, well, you sent more than that, guys, okay? Stop. If you're going to be the full disclosure, you're going to send more. It costs you more to send the money for the load. He said to me it was worth it. Some of them just don't have unlimited data like us. Facts. Yeah, but you sent more than that. That's the full disclosure. Okay. Yeah, why would you send a woman 100 pesos or 500 pesos? You sending more than that. I mean, you could tell that to somebody else. Don't tell that to me. If you send a woman 500, you'll send her 5,000. Hey, thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's true though. But we all go after the same women. That's why, you see the women, they looking nice in the bikinis, and they 15s, they 10 and 15. You want to stay away from those, man. I mean, if you really want somebody that you can relate to, that's not going to play any games, okay, you don't even know what a yummy six looks like in person. Okay, I'm talking about the type of women who really going to keep up their end of the bargain. It's going to be like nothing you ever dreamed of having in your country. But y'all keep running after the same women. That's why you got women who are playing, they're players now. And I don't blame them. But we're sending more. We're sending more than load, hairy shoulders. If you're sending 500, you'll send a 5,000. Because you'll say, well, I might as well just send it all to you right now. There ain't no load. You ain't buying no load over here. You know what the load they buy over here is 20 pesos. That way they can text, unlimited text, and 50 MB of data for 2 days. That's all they can afford. So you're not sending them 20, 50, 100 pesos. It's going to cost you more to do that. You're sending them money like everybody else is sending because you don't think it's a lot. You're sending them at least $100. Even if you send them $50, is a lot of money over here. It's 2,500 pesos, almost 3,000 pesos, you say. That's a week's pay if you got a good job here. So don't give me that I'm buying loads only. No, you're not. Because ain't no woman going to be standing waiting for you at the airport if all you're doing is sending for load. Okay? She's not going to meet you anywhere if that's all you're doing. That's bullshit, man. Who y'all think y'all talking to? These women over here aren't stupid. Hey, Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said lots of bar girls with tattoos and lots of lady boys on Cupid. Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. These are the ones, Sonny D, that you have to avoid. You have to go through there. That's the only way that you can avoid really them even in your inbox. Are they going to come up on your feed because of your filter? Yeah, but you can just keep scrolling. But if you just get on there, you don't have no filter at all. You just get on there. All these messages are coming at you, and you screening through just thousands and thousands of women, man. You ain't going to find nobody like that, man. It's a hard way to find a woman over here. Yeah, dating sites are not human. Trafficking. He says pay arrangement for someone to meet a particular person. But who's doing that, Neil? I don't understand. Who's doing that? Are people in person and paid to have that accomplished? But who's doing that? I don't understand how you came to that conclusion. What's up, Izzy and Chris? He said, how's it going? Cal's hot and dry in Minden now. The electric grid is on yellow alert. It's been brown out because of heat around 1 p.m. every day in Agusan del Sur. That's what the lady was from at my meet and greet, but she was from Agusan del Norte. Isn't that around Butuan somewhere? But we have more brownouts. When I was in Zamboanga, we'd have them all the time. But here we don't have them as much in San Carlos. And when we do have them, they'll give you a warning. But hell, about 2 weeks ago, I was having one every day. They wasn't telling us. I don't know. Something must have been going on. He said, if you move to the United States, your Social Security amount money doesn't change in the Philippines, right, Cal? Yeah, but don't tell them you're moving here. Why would you tell them you're moving here? Keep your address or an address in the United States. You know, why would it change, though? You're just living here now. Excuse me. Yeah, he says, Philippines look so much better in person, man. I'm still pinching myself. You know I'm telling the truth. Those profile pictures and stuff don't do them no justice, man. You know, when you come over here and you really get a yummy 6, you're going to be so happy, man. You ain't going to know what to do. You ain't going to know what to do. He said he got locked down too quick. Yeah, he's married now. Now, depending on which ones, you know, some women now, they'll have one like, you know, I had to get them on the shoulder, maybe a butterfly here. But if they got their whole arm over in the Philippines, and not Thailand, tattoos mean something totally different over there. But over here, if you got a woman with a whole leg, yeah, that's okay. Well, you're the exception. Okay. Did you end up spending money or not? Or you just came over here and the woman came to the hotel with you for nothing, L. White? Okay. Is this what I'm saying that you're gonna spend. That's why they don't ask you for anything. How did she get to the airport? On her own? You're telling me? Because a lot of the women we meet, no, I mean, you're the exception. There's always the exception to the rule. That just proves that the rule is correct. They don't have 2 pesos to rub together. They can't even get to the airport. Okay. Certainly if they're coming, say for instance, my wife was in Zamboanga. She met me in Cebu. How's she going to do that unless I send her the money? You guys always want to be the exception. It don't matter how old you are. Okay? They look at foreigners the same way. Okay, you better have something to offer. And if you did come over here and did all of that for nothing, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Certainly knowing the circumstances over here. You're not looking good, you're looking bad. You're making the rest of us look bad. You're going to come over here to a place where people are struggling and you're going to come over and get something for nothing. Come on, man. But you guys are so special. Because you're 32. That don't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing. There's a guy over here. He's half Filipino, half Australian. This guy could be on TV in the Philippines right now if he wanted to. Okay. Does he run through some women? Yeah, but he fell in love over here. He got his bell rung over here, and the woman left him. Guess why she left him? He didn't have no money, but he looks like a matinee idol. He's got muscles. He's got everything that a young woman wants, but he ain't got no money. Okay? So y'all keep on fooling yourself with that. Okay, thinking y'all special because y'all young. It don't mean nothing. And he's about 32. Okay, this guy should be in commercials. He should be in the movies. He certainly could be. He's just saying into all of that. He could go to a screening right now and be on television tomorrow. Okay, that's just, he was born like that. He's got good genes and DNA. Girls look at him and fall in love with him, but they don't stay with him long. He gets a lot of play, but they don't stay with him because he doesn't have any money. He can't move them from A to B. So you guys, y'all don't understand, man. There's guys over here who are matinee idols that the women could have if they wanted them. If all they want is just to lay down and get their backs blown out, but they want something more than that. Hey, SOS 911, thanks for that super sticker. Yeah, I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't complicate. I wouldn't complicate it by doing that. Oh, okay. Butuan is a Gusan del Norte. Okay. He says, I'm in Bayogan, about an hour south. I'm pretty sure I had to go past that because I was going down to Bislick City. I was dating a woman who was one of the first women I ever dated. She was in a barangay, Lewigan. It was a barangay, Bislick City. I didn't know that till last year, though. But if you guys want you to think that, yeah, I mean, like I said, you're the exception, dude. That's all. I'm not knocking you because it happens. It happens. Well, my woman's got a college degree. I mean, that's nothing. Brother's got a legitimate college degree. But I'm telling you, you're in and out. You're not over here. You can do anything for 2 weeks. You can tell a woman anything. But there's a reason she got with you because there's something she wants from you other than your good looks and intelligence. Okay, you don't think she would trade that rental car in for a visa? I'm sorry, but she will. Yeah. A foreign affair is one of them. Then they got Cebu Women or something because they got a YouTube channel. They do the same thing. And even in Davao. What's up? I'm talking to men who are, up in my average age on my channel is 45 and up, basically. But at the end of the day, that doesn't, make you special though. Because remember, chicken is chicken, like the guy said. God, I am. Because the guy was trying to do the same thing you're doing. He was talking about, he lives in Angeles City. It's like, okay, but yeah, if you want to deal with the real women in Angeles City, go to the ones in the mall. And the guy was like, hold on, stop right there. He said, a chicken is a chicken. Doesn't matter if you fry it, bake it, broil it, grill it, it's still a damn chicken. He's saying, the women is the same. You're getting the same thing no matter what. And we're at a stage in our life where we want it easy. We don't want any complications. We want it simple. But he eventually pays. Why would you come to the Philippines and don't pay your own way, basically? And take the girl out and maybe take her somewhere that she's never been before. This is the Matrix mindset. I'm going to come over there and get as much as I can for nothing. That's not hip, man. Not in a place like the Philippines. I don't know why y'all brag about this stuff. I don't advocate that. Yeah, I'm not knocking you, man. I'm not. You're the exception. But I'm saying that if you come over here and dealing with these women, man, this is the last place where you want to be cheap. or you want to try to play on somebody or get over? Are you looking for a woman who really has, more than you? He said he can't even give a Filipino the curly life plan. Yeah. I mean, yeah, at least give her the curly life plan. Take her to a nice hotel, something to, nice place to eat and all that. Give her some damn memories. Yeah, they're going to pay. But see, that's the whole point, Brandon. Everybody wants to make you think, not L White, but a lot of guys do. They want to make you think you're special. Oh, they're cool. They're the exception. They're not like everybody else. But you're in the 8,000 mile club. As a matter of fact, I forgot my damn 8,000 mile patches again. So this goes for L White or anybody else. You're in the 8,000 mile club once you get on that plane and come to the Philippines. You're not different than anybody. We're all the same now. You came 8,000 miles for a date, to date a woman. Okay, to have a girlfriend or get married or whatever it is. So I invented that to get rid of all that talk of, oh, I'm this and oh, I'm that. No, you're in the 8,000 mile club. Get out of here. I know. Yeah. Yeah, he said guys trying to get over in the Philippines. Yeah, ain't a whole lot, man. You ain't doing a whole lot by doing that. He said, my wife spent 180,000 pesos to attend flight attendant school, took a loan for it. Then was one of the first laid off during the pandemic. Hasn't tried to re-enter. We had a daughter. Yeah, that's sad, man. Because that's a pretty damn good job. Flight attendant, you got to be tall and beautiful. Because over here, the job requirements, man, you wish you were in America. Because like I said, one of the guys at the meet and greet, he's been a flight attendant for 34 years, man. This guy's been all over the world, probably several times. He said he quit counting at 1 million miles, and he said they don't even reward you for miles anymore, counts for years. So I'm pretty sure there's women his same age, but good luck trying to get hard as a flight attendant over here at 35. You basically have to be perfect. That's why when you see them flight attendants on these Cebu Pacific and Philippine Airlines, well, I don't know about Philippine Airlines. I don't fly them that much. But they're all young. They're all attractive. They're all perfect. He said, yeah, that flight. We'll talk about that on the next live stream, which will be Sunday. Unless I can get Paul on here. He said that flight coming over here was a brutal 21 hours. It's brutal. I don't care how you look at it. Even if you're in first class. That's a brutal trip, man. You can only look at so many movies, and you're still up there for 21 hours, and 15 from Chicago to Hong Kong. Your mind's all over the place. Every noise you hear, we going down, and all that. But I've been real fortunate. This last trip, I always put Cathay Pacific up there because they got good planes, man. The ones I've flown on. When I came here in 2018, I flew the whole way. We flew the whole way from Chicago to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to Cebu. The fasten seatbelt sign never came on, not one time. Okay, the whole flight. This time when I flew from Chicago to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to Manila, one time as we was getting ready, right, or maybe an hour before we were getting ready to land in Hong Kong. It was only on for maybe 5 minutes. But that damn going back home, when I caught the flight from from Manila to Taiwan was no problem. But hell, the minute before we took off, it was Delta flying from Taiwan to Seattle. He told you, yeah, these first 2 hours it's gonna be bumpy, and it was, man. I was like, damn, what I got myself into. Then when I get to Seattle, I have to fly from Seattle to Chicago, Delta again. Man, their equipment is so bad. It's old. You know, I'm hearing the wheels, you know, on the way to the runway. You know, you're hearing the wheels squeaking. I'm like, damn, I'll never fly Delta again. I just won't do it. Yeah, he said, yeah, she's 33 now, almost impossible. They'll make you take your makeup off during an interview to look for scars, etc. Yeah, it's different here. My first trip to the Philippines, I was shown because the lady was 41, and I was shown a job description, and I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I'm telling you, right now, it was crazy. I think it said 18 to 30. This one, I don't think this was, yeah, this said 18 to 30, fair skin, pleasing personality. It was, you know, yeah, Delta, man. I don't like Delta, man. Their equipment is too bad now. It's like I'm still flying on the same planes when I was flying over here in 2009. I would never fly Delta again, man. And this was a big A. What is it? Is it like an A900 or something? What is that? That big ass plane, but it was raggedy, man. And for the first hour and a half to 2 hours, man, it was bumpy. But that big plane and it was the same plane, but Cathay Pacific coming over here, man, you ain't feel nothing. It's like riding a Cadillac. But thank y'all so much for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. I think we got our water fixed, man. My bill was 1,309 pesos. It's over here. And that's 2,200 less. But it's going to go down even more because it was still half the month of whatever was wrong with it before we put the line in. I put the line in, we started to work July the 15th, so it probably didn't get done until about 5 days later. So about July 20th. So for 20 days, it was still the same old thing. So it should go down to the regular. I hope it does, man. I mean, really. But yeah, that turbulence, man. No, not anymore. No, this was a big one. You know, I think they took the 747s out of service, except if you what's the plane that the president flies? He says, so your average bill for your family it's about 400 per month. My electric is about 8,000. But yeah, my water bill is usually like 350 to 400 every month. I wouldn't even argue with 600. But 2,200, 3,500, 1,800, something's wrong. Well, Sunshine Shoulders is we just want to bring darkness into places, bring light into places where only darkness used to be. I created that during the pandemic when it was the darkest times of the pandemic. We just wanted to help people. It started out as a Facebook page, and we were just helping Filipino families that were affected by the pandemic and the lockdowns because it was bad over here. I don't know about anybody else. I was here the whole pandemic. I mean, you think it's bad now, imagine everything being shut down, nobody working. So that's all we wanted to do. He said, what's the curly life plan? It's just, you know, basically food, shelter, and sex. That's what that is. Yeah, Air Force One is what I meant to say. Yeah. Well, no, where we come from, honestly, the electric is high here. I think our rates are higher than in Cebu. But hell, it was 8,600. We paid it. We always pay our electric bill on time because I don't want to pay any extra. It was, here it is right here, the receipt. 8,642. So let me see something real quick. I'll tell you exactly what that was. I've got my calculator here. 86 what? 42. Divided by 57.31. $150.79. Because electric is high here in the Philippines. That's one of the highest things. And then the lowest is the water. But if you're living in one of them condominiums or something like that, you're not going to pay anything like that. Okay. A smooth life. You're probably going to pay somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 probably. It just depends. Because I've had guys, my friend Smiley, I think he had a bill for $10,000 in Solanea. Depending on how big the place is. But for the most part, if you're out and about all the time, see, we got these aircon units on all the time because of Booby. But right now, the one in the living room and the dining room isn't on. But this one, we basically keep it on all the time. But if you out and about, whenever we leave, we cut this off. Okay? So you're probably going to be in and out. Yours ain't going to be anywhere near that. It's probably going to be somewhere $4,000 to $5,000 a month. 1,000 pesos a month. Yeah, he said he's paying a lot more in BGC. It just depends. Everybody's is going to be different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. We can give you an idea by telling you ours, but guess what? What's up, the story of KT? We're coming to Ho Chi Minh City. This is the guy. Go and look at his interview I did. And we want you to set up that meet and greet. They're even talking about following me. Maryland's friends are going to follow me over there. But the only thing about budget videos, they leave too much out. They never talk about what they're spending on the woman. Some people go to Thailand, Vietnam. You got to put all that into your budget. And your budget is not how much you spend. A budget is a limit on your funds. And do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you skirt chase? What do you like to do? You eat out all the time. I left Sticky Hole, my good friend Oliver. He eats out every day. So, of course, his bill is going to be higher than mine. No. He said, I thought the electric was included. I guess it would be if you got one through Airbnb, maybe. He said, yeah, electric companies are cutthroat out there. They will cut you off quick. And because a lot of times, like Noneco is where we are on Negros Occidental. Noneco is the name of it. Those are the initials. They're the only game in town. So what are you going to do? It's their way or the highway. Remember, I got a bill for $17,000. But guess what? The people here push back. It's like, nah, we can't afford to pay that. My bill, doubled. So if you're looking at the locals, even if their bill is normally $1,500, if it doubled to $3,000, they got problems. Yeah, I've got the split. She said, same on electric bill in the Philippines, use split system, inverter, air conditioner. Yeah, that's what we've got. This is supposed to be one of the most efficient. This carrier, this is the new one that we've got. Hey, thank you, Ron. Yeah, you're right now. Now, you're right about this. He said, you're right. They talk about Philippines budget, but it takes at least 3,000 to 4,000 per month to live comfortably in BGC. Yeah, BGC is a whole different beast. Yeah, but see, they got monopolies over here, Frank. Remember, we're not in America. They got monopolies over here where they're the only game in town, you know, on a lot of things. You don't see nothing on the shelf. Basically, I'm saying, you know, just a few other. You're gonna see San Miguel and Pilsner and Red Horse, and I think they all made by the same company. You ain't gonna get many choices over here. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, man, we're gonna come over there because it's only like a 2-hour flight. He says his is included. Yeah, if you get one through like the Airbnb, you know, if you rent like month to month, but if you renting one like a yearly lease, like Kaz has up in Manila, you know, guys who have been here for a long time, you're gonna pay your own aircon bill. But Airbnb, yeah, if you come here for 1 month and you rent it the condo for 1 month, you're gonna pay. It's gonna be included. I will, man. But here lately, it's been kind of steady, Izzy and Chris. He says, I've give up trying to figure out the electric bill and charges here. I don't do anything different each month, and my bill is like a roller coaster. It is. But remember, it's a monopoly. They can charge you whatever they want to. Who you gonna complain to? There's nobody at the electric office that's gonna help you. What's up, Slick Rick? Yeah, see, starting businesses over here, man, it's tricky because you gotta know what you're up against, man. It can get you in big trouble. But you know, I wish, you know, only good luck to people who make that plunge. Certainly the ones opening up restaurants, man. Because I saw another video on James. Remember what's the name of the guy interviewed up in the Cavite? What's the name of it? I just saw the video today. Somebody went there and ate their food. It looks good, by the way. Yeah, it looks good, by the way. Because he's bit into something, man. The cheese is stretching. It was a hamburger or something. The cheese is stretching from his mouth all the way out here. I'm like, wow, it looks good. Yes, there's a lot of empty condos everywhere, man. They're way behind. What's your rent, Raymond? If yours is included, how much is it? Because I got a guy who's texting back and forth with me. He's moving from Davao. He's looking at either BGC, Bacolod, or Iloilo, and he said he's paying $45,000 a month for a condo in Davao. I was like, wow, that must be a nice ass condo, man. Oh, okay. Well, you're getting a good deal then, Raymond. Yeah, you're getting a damn good deal then. But what, you got a yearly lease or month to month? Yeah, you about 400 pesos a month or less. Because we buy water separate, drinking water. We get 12 liters for 30 pesos. And we've got 6 of those. But okay, guys, I appreciate y'all. I'm getting off of here. I know Merlin's finished eating, but when you meet somebody, man, and you think about getting serious, man, get those expectations, man, ironed out, man, up front. You don't want no surprises. Okay, you can't read her mind, she can't read yours. let her know what you expect. I promise you, man, I do that before I ever even meet the girl. I let them know, about that part, because I'm not going to be in a sexless marriage. I'm not going to be in a sexless relationship. Okay. All this other bullshit, excuses for a decline in sexual activities, bullshit. Stress and fatigue from working. You need to get another job. Communication issues. No. Health problems. Yeah, I can understand that. Aging. Yeah. If you 83 and I'm 86, okay. The pussy's closed down. The business is closed. Okay. But emotional disconnect, parenting responsibilities, you better put booby in there. Mental health, technology use, put the damn phone down. No, I'm sorry, guys. Bullshit. But get that ironed out, man. Take care. Look for my members only live stream. It's coming.